Welcome to the Hamumu Halloween Home Horror Hoedown, the podcast where we watch scary movies so you don't have to.
From award-winning to completely unknown, we take them all way too seriously.
I'm your host, Mike Hommel.
And I'm your host, Solange Hommel.
Now, warning, we use a ghoulish number of spoilers, so watch the movies first.
Second warning, we don't know anything about anything, so don't take us seriously as we take these movies seriously.
Here's the deal.
Yes, what's the deal?
It's been a few weeks since we podcasted at y'all.
First there was Thanksgiving, and then we were sick, and then there was Christmas,
and then we were sick.
It's been,
Wait, though, between the two of us, there have been 3 big illnesses, 2 vacations, and Christmas.
And 3 major holidays.
3?
Well, because I feel like this all started around
Year's.
Thanksgiving. So Thanksgiving, Christmas,
Well,
New
sure.
Year's.
Okay. There's a lot going on.
And the world as we know it has come to an end.
Oh, yeah, I forgot the world ended.
Yeah. So it's been a lot in the last 2 months, but here we are. We are back. And we're kicking off our return.
Yeah, we're back from our getaway with a new movie.
I see what you did there.
And it's a very new movie.
Yes, it is a very new movie. It is the movie Get Away, written by Nick Frost.
Written by Nick Frost.
Directed by Nick Frost.
No.
And boy, was it written by Nick Frost. That's my main comment.
But more importantly, it stars Ashlyn B.
Yes. Okay, so one of the things, like, if you need to know what this movie... okay. I'm afraid that people listening to us don't know Nick Frost and Ashlyn B the way we do through our consumption of entertainment media. Mm-hmm. But all you need to know about this movie is Nick Frost and Ashlyn B meet Midsommar and Wicker Man.
Yeah, there's
Like,
Wicker Man in there.
That's it. That's the movie.
But here's something that I feel like about this. Mm-hmm. Because the Nick Frost influence in there is like, this movie feels like Hot Fuzz in reverse. But I guess that's getting into the spoiler territory.
Can I make a confession?
You can make one confession.
Is this a safe space for me to say something that may be controversial in this house?
Nobody's listening.
That's true. Okay. While I have always enjoyed the Nick Frost, Simon Pegg combo movies,
Me too.
I have always suspected that it was the Simon Pegg side that I liked.
Yeah.
And that I wasn't a fan so much of Nick Frost.
I can understand that.
And having seen this movie, my suspicions were confirmed.
Oh.
I'm not overly a fan of Nick Frost. He's too much chaos. His humor relies on madness.
You know, it's interesting because then you think of Simon Pegg / Nick Frost movies and they descend into madness and chaos at the end, right? Mm-hmm. And then I think about movies that Simon Pegg has done by himself, and they don't do that.
No, they don't.
Although I think they're lacking something for it.
I mean, I think, the two of them together, they have interlocking skills, right? Like they do a good thing together. I think that Nick Frost just has so much chaos in him, and it's too much for me. Like, and I think it's for me. Like, I know that there are people who enjoy that kind of humor. It makes me think of Chris Farley, who I liked at the beginning of each of his sketches.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And then it always had to get to this place where it was just too big for me to enjoy. And I know other people enjoy that too big piece. I like things a little more subtle. And without Simon Pegg, there was less subtle. Or the subtle part wasn't as entertaining, perhaps.
I think what's funny about that, okay, first of all, I think that's something that you have caught on to is that the subtle blah part of this where they're just going on vacation, he's not playing anybody interesting or he's just kind of meh. And I think Simon Pegg would be a little spicy, sarcastic, goofy.
Yes. Now, Ashlyn B was fun. Like, I think she was the Simon Pegg of this movie, right?
Yeah.
Like, she was kind of the straight man, which is funny to me to see Ashlyn be in a straight man position.
Except Nick Frost was also the straight man in this movie.
And that's the problem with the first 2/3 of the movie.
Yeah. They're just so, I mean, they're not bland, they're insipid, dorky people. It's a family going on a holiday to an island called Svalta in Sweden. And the parents, Ashlyn B and Nick Frost, are just saccharine, terrible people who call each other mummy and daddy. And it is gross.
That might be a cultural over the pond kind of a thing. I think maybe not completely normal, but more normal. More normal over there. But yeah, it was upsetting. So yeah, and they have their two like almost grown or maybe even
they're
grown kids with them.
The actors at least were in their 20s.
Yeah.
I feel like they were playing in their 20s, early 20s.
But it's possible they were playing like late teens.
Yeah.
So they show up, and of course they're not welcome because, you know, there's the Wicker Man influence. Like, they show up and all the locals just like stare at them and are doing weird things in the backgrounds of all the scenes. And, you know, there's all kinds of hints of things that have happened
Cannibalism.
in the past, and human sacrifice and beheadings and all kinds of chaos that's just hinted at.
Yes, and they're arriving just in time for this celebration. They call it their little play. Well, the family calls it the island's little play, which the island does not approve of.
No, that's very offensive.
And it's a celebration of this time when they had to resort to cannibalism because they were all trapped on the island. So,
or at least that's what they say.
That's what they say.
Yeah. And they are staying at what the mom character describes as a B&B, but is really they're just renting the house of like the one rich guy on the island who's kind of isolated from everyone else. And we find out that his mother had been murdered by she had been sacrificed by them or something.
Wait.
Like somehow she had died.
Didn't she die in the chair? Oh, yeah, she was murdered. Murdered in the chair.
Yeah, in the chair, like Psycho style.
Yeah. Speaking of that, there are elements of Psycho in this movie with the guy that they come to stay with. That's interesting.
Yeah, it was fun to see like the little references and homages to various different things. So something I want to talk about with this movie before we get to the final. No, maybe we should talk about maybe we should talk about the end, the last third of it first. And then I want to come back to something about the writing decision that was made about this movie.
Okay, so are we going to say the deal?
Yes.
The big spoiler?
So 2/3 through the movie, as they're being chased through the woods by what has been presented to us as a serial killer who lives on the island.
Oh, yeah, that's right. We discover that the movie is not called Getaway. It's called Get Away. Which already, that would make sense for what you just said. But
it's different than that because everything turns on a dime and suddenly the family is murdering everyone they can get their hands on the island. And it turns out they're not a family at all. They're
not
just
a family.
like 4 people who signed up to come on this retreat where they were going to get to murder all the people on the island.
Yeah, they're just a team of psychopathic killers that really enjoy killing people. And that's basically it. It's
strongly implied that there's like a whole network, like that this is a thing that you can do. You can sign up to go on these. It's like signing up to go on like a safari adventure. You get packed into a van with strangers and you go and you like do the things. You look at the rhinoceri and whatnot.
And you shoot them.
But in this case, you're also sort of improving as characters because you know, they were all assigned roles as part of this family, and they do a good job through the beginning of the movie of being that family.
Yeah, they're just psycho killers.
Okay, so the hinting at this like network of serial killer safari events. Stop doing my puzzle.
I didn't do it. I tried and it failed.
Stop doing my puzzle.
I didn't.
Okay. That's what I want to talk about, is that they hinted that there was some kind of cabal happening. They hinted at like this tragic trapped on the island event where they had to resort to cannibalism. They hinted at how that turned into some kind of ritual component where they hinted that they regularly killed people. Nothing was flat out explained.
Yeah.
And I think that's a very specific style of writing. And it's a style that I always resorted to when I was writing my short stories. Like, everything falls apart if you give the details, because you're creating a fictional universe, right? And you can't make it perfect. So just enough so that someone understands. The short story author I always think of in this case is Shirley Jackson.
Oh.
Because I have referenced this before, formative to my horror enjoying brain was the fact that I read The Lottery when I was like in, I don't know, 7th grade or something, whenever it was assigned. Or like The Lady and the Tiger by Frank R. Stockton. Mike just looked that up for me. These are classic horror stories that are truly terrifying in what they present as, like, you start filling in the blanks of what's going on, and they create this horrific universe that this story takes place in, right? And I think this movie leaned heavily on that style, and I enjoy that style.
Yeah, I like that because, like you said, first of all, nobody likes a big exposition scene. That's just stupid. And it also immediately always falls into some trap where it's like, oh, we've had this thing for 1,000 years. And you're like, no, you couldn't have had that for 1,000 years. That doesn't make any sense. But, so by just leaving it up to your imagination, you're going to make it make sense to yourself. Right.
Now, it is a dangerous strategy to use in telling a story because it requires that the viewer or the person taking the story in participate in it. Because if the reader or the viewer doesn't fill in the blanks in their own mind and flesh out the universe to their own satisfaction, then they're just like, I don't understand what's going on here. There's not enough information. Why is this happening? And I often got that feedback when I was writing for my little writing group that I met with. And it was very frustrating because I'm like, yeah, I'm not doing that part. You do that part. If you don't know what's happening in there and you're having a problem with it, you need to have a better imagination.
That's on you, buddy.
Which I'm not sure if that's an appropriate response to feedback. But I think that what happens then for this movie is people either really enjoyed it because they filled in the blanks and there was this like weird Shirley Jackson type story, or they didn't and they're like, what the heck was that? It was boring for 2/3 and then it was chaos I don't understand for the last third.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think it's obvious enough, the basic idea that, oh, wait, these people are psychos and they're going to kill everybody. Like, that's straightforward. So you can go with that. It's just you're missing kind of the expanded universe.
I think, too, the people who aren't filling in the gaps, they're the ones that are like, nothing happened in the first 2/3 of the movie. Well, that's not true.
There's subtleties.
Things were happening. You had to pay attention to them and you had to be able to put them together in, figure out what the history was. And again, I find that entertaining. I enjoy that. I think some people don't want to work that hard.
Now, I thought, okay, they reveal them all to be crazy. All of them have like leather straps and stuff holding knives onto them. And that's it. All 4 of them do the exact same thing. They have a bunch of knives and they stab everybody. And I feel like that's a huge missed opportunity when you think of Rob Zombie movies. 31,
which I often do.
I know, that's all you think about. In 31, he's got this whole thing where the characters are going through like a challenge of different serial killers. And, it's one wacky type after another. Wouldn't it have been great if, Nick Frost put on a creepy gimp mask and Ashlyn B had a flamethrower? That'd be kind of boring, but something, a chainsaw. She could have 2 chainsaw arms. If each one was something different and fun, I think that would be.
And one was
cool.
one that like snuck through the bushes and garroted people or something.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
That would be the daughter for sure.
You don't get to do my puzzle either. Libby's literally opening the puzzle box so that she can steal puzzle pieces. Yes, that would have been fun.
Yeah, so that would have definitely been the daughter doing that. She was creepy.
Now, one thing we haven't mentioned is that there was strife within the ranks of our safari goers, and the guy who was the son in the family, air quotes, ends up dead because he's so obnoxious and is so antagonistic, particularly toward the Nick Frost character, toward the dad character, which plays fine, like, through the beginning of it, where it's family.
Yeah, he's
There's
a
just
teenage son.
Right. He's clearly just being a beanbag and annoying his dad and whatever. But basically the turning point of the movie is that he's being obnoxious and the dad character is just like, I've had enough of this, and stabs him in the neck and he dies. And then the two women are like, oh, there's going to be like so much. We're going to have to deal with so much when we get back.
I know. We got to find a new son. But nobody actually cared that he was dead.
No, it was just an inconvenience. I thought that was a funny way to turn the movie on its head like that.
Yeah.
And it was just a very unexpected moment that ended up being humorous because it was so unexpected.
Yeah, you think murder's funny?
Sometimes.
Okay, then we're good.
How to review this movie. I feel like I kind of want to just divide up. Like, there were things I liked and things I didn't like. I liked the way the story was told. I liked the kind of dribbling out of information and the puzzle aspect of like, ooh, what's going on in the background there? How does that tie to what I overheard about, the old lady? And what is this bizarre play that they are putting on? And we're seeing like flashes of it, and none of it is coherent in any way. I was entertained by all of that. On the other hand, I still feel like the subtle part of the movie, which was the majority of the movie, was too subtle, it didn't have enough punch. Mm-hmm. And that, that was kind of disappointing. It wasn't terrible, but it could have been better, I think. And Ruthie agrees. It confirms to me that I enjoy the folk horror genre.
Oh.
And I like it when it's funny. I liked this probably more than I liked Midsummer, because Midsummer took itself so seriously.
It was just a serious movie.
I know. And I'm like, too much. So I liked it better. I think I probably still liked Wicker Man better than this one, just because it was...
From the 70s.
Maybe? I don't know. Anyway, I guess I am going to give Get Away 3.5 ferry boats out of 5. Mm-hmm. It was definitely, I liked it more than I disliked it, but it's not like ending up on a list of movies that I will want to watch a lot, or that I'm probably going to remember to tell people to watch. That said, in some of the reviews that I read, they talked about how this had the potential to become a cult classic. And I do think that that is true. But I think I tend to not be the kind of person who likes movies that become cult classics.
I probably do.
I feel like people who enjoy Evil Dead might end up enjoying this movie if they are okay with the Shirley Jackson style beginning, which is not an Evil Dead style for sure. So I don't know.
And I think that's kind of a problem with the movie, is that it goes from this very slow kind of foreboding mystery to everybody just getting stabbed to death. And wacky fun time stabbed to death, too. Yeah.
It kind of, it sort of is like the people who will like this movie are the Venn diagram of people who both enjoyed Midsummer and Evil Dead.
Yeah. I like both of those. I actually feel very much like you do about this movie. It was very okay. I think it was just like there wasn't enough fun in those early parts that could have easily been there. Both of them are capable of doing that kind of fun acting and being goofy, but they weren't goofy enough, because they were trying to set this sort of Wicker Man tone. And I think that was a mistake. I think they could have easily... had been in the world of this creepy weirdness and been... I mean, they were goofy people for sure, but...
Do you think it's because people like Nick Frost and Ashlyn B, who are so intense don't have a good sense for that side of the emotional spectrum.
How
They're
not
like,
to be intense.
I don't know, like, I know I need to tone it down, but like once you get past a certain level on the dial, they're like, these all feel the same to me. I don't know what I'm doing.
That makes a lot of sense. Especially Nick Frost, because I think Ashlyn B was more of she was playing kind of a fun thing. And he was more just a monotone gray. And the kids were just sort of obnoxious kids until they got to the island, and the boy was still an obnoxious kid and the girl was just really creepy. And that kind of worked out, kind of made its way straight into the psycho killer part. So that was good, but not super funny, just good. So I tend to agree that this is worthy of 3.5 ferry boats out of 5, because it was enjoyable. Like, it was okay. And I had a decent time, but it just wasn't hitting the spots of what they were trying to do. The really funny stuff. And then it was not scary ever, because it was when the killing got started, it was wacky killing, although it was gory, wacky killing. Yeah, it just didn't quite do it. But it was kind of fun to see them, when they were killers, kind of leaning on past experience and being all, let's do that thing we do all the time. And, they were deciding who was going to be the one to pretend they were injured or whatever. And that was,
That was a funny reference to like action movies where it's two spies who are like, ooh, let's do the Majorca play.
Yeah. They always do the Majorca play.
One thing, you did remind me of something that a negative.
Oh no.
You were talking about the teenage daughter and like who she became when they got to the island. And I kind of liked the creepiness of her.
Yeah.
What I didn't like is that they, like so many movies do, had to rely on this element of, the guy who owns the house is creeping on the teenage girl. And there was like, they had to bring in this sexual assault piece of it. And it was unnecessary, I think.
Well, and I think that entire guy was a mistake, the psycho guy, because then you had also, he was wearing women's clothes, and that's weird. And, like it's a transphobia kind of humor, and I don't know.
All the cultural missteps of this movie were around that one character.
Yes, it was him. Like the idea that you see a man wearing women's clothes and you go, oh no,
He must be a serial killer.
Yeah, like that's shorthand for he's creepy and evil, and that's not good shorthand. That is definitely harmful.
Well, and unfortunately, I don't know Nick Frost personally, so I don't know who he is or how he is as a person, but I wouldn't be surprised to know that that was something that just bled through from Nick Frost, that's something he thinks is funny.
Yeah. And now that we've revealed all the secrets of this movie, I do want to go back to the idea that this is Hot Fuzz in reverse, which is, it's not really reverse, but, you go to the creepy community of weirdos, and in Hot Fuzz, it ends in this crazy action scene where he and Simon Pegg are the cops, shooting everybody because everybody's evil. And then same thing here, except Nick Frost and family are evil killers, killing everybody who's pretty innocent, really. And so it's a mirror image of that, but evil. That's all. It did have kind of an Edgar Wright style to it there, probably only during the end part, but a lot of snap cuts and whatnot.
Yeah.
Fight the horror of a world gone mad.
I have a very brief hot political connection for this movie. As we mildly referenced at the top of this episode,
the world is over.
Since the last time you heard from us, the new American president has been installed. The new repeat American president has been installed. And as of right now, we are about 5 days into his second term, and he's done everything he can to dismantle our government and all of the rule of law and everything else. So I related strongly when there's a scene in the movie where one of the women who lives on the island is saying to someone, everything's fine. And she says it, and then someone on fire runs past in the background.
Yeah.
And I was like, Yeah. That's what it feels like. That's what watching the news feels like right now.
Yes.
That someone on the news is like, he's fired all the inspectors generals, and it'll be okay, though, because it's illegal. And so, it's not actually going to happen.
Someone's going to care.
It's against the law for him to do this. It's unconstitutional, what have you. It'll be fine. As people run past in the background of the footage on fire.
Just hundreds of them.
Yeah. That's sort of what it feels like right now.
Californians run past in the background on fire.
Jeez. Yeah. So anyway, that was my little connection.
Yeah.
That we keep being told everything is fine, and everything is most definitely not fine.
Yeah. That's all very true. And that is frustrating.
Yeah.
Accidental hand gesture was a phrase. Anyway, doesn't matter. The world's over. So is our podcast. We'll see you next week with a new movie.
Woot!
Because that's all we can do is just watch movies while the world burns. Everything's fine.
Everything's fine. Bye.
Bye.
Get Out. Nope. It is the movie Get.
You said get out. Nope. That's very amusing.